3, 2, 1. Woo! Okay. Welcome to the launch, to the grand premiere of the There's Better podcast. I'm your host. I go by the name of Merlin for now. I know that's a weird name, but it was a nickname in college. So it just kind of stuck. Also known as Birdman, also known as Slimin in some circles. Should give you a clue, but just kidding. Anyway, so welcome to the podcast. Originally, I wanted to do this podcast. I recorded a few audio only with a friend of mine, a fellow colleague, teacher. He dropped out, didn't want to continue. Can't blame him. He also kind of lost his job, so it's another story. But anyway, so I'm here doing it solo. And I just wanted to post a quick kind of intro video about what it's going to be about. So basically what I'd like to talk about in this channel is culture, politics a little bit. I try to say I won't, but I know I'm going to get pulled into it. Because politics is downstream of culture, so it's bound to come up. But I just think there's been too much bickering left and right. There's just no point, because the two political spectrums are now just these symbols for things that are like personal issues in everybody's souls. So it's like you're basically having this like religious, dogmatic discussion with someone when you're really just trying to debate, policy, but good policy, sensible policy. But on the left, there's a lot of push to silence free speech now. They've shut down that recent news yesterday was they shut down Parler, which was like a Twitter alternative meant for kind of people who were like kicked off Twitter. So where do they go from here? I mean, it's kind of getting a little scary. I mean, you can still just call people up and talk about stuff, but it's kind of cheating if one side has, all the power of social media and the other doesn't. I mean, it's kind of inherently, it doesn't matter, even if you're on the other side, you can still see that's not really fair. And it's going to lead to some bad consequences. It already has. Like, it's already kind of folded into itself where, like, when I grew up in Southern Ontario, Hamilton, mostly Toronto, and I went to public schools, Catholic public schools, but it didn't matter. I mean, it's still pernicious, and seems like we set up this left, like I said, this symbolic left-right, and it's like, oh, they believe in canceling unions, and the left, they believe in, helping everyone. Like, it's just this false dichotomy, this false kind of semiotics or semantics. I don't know. But this debate we're having, or like people try to have, like if you're a little bit conservative, right-wing, right-leaning, even if you weren't, I mean, 20 years ago, you are now, because that's just the way it's shifted. Like, if you're in any way against children transitioning to become transgender, that's a conservative position. If you're against that, if you're against free speech, you're on the left, basically. If you're against limiting free speech, or if you're pro free speech, you're basically on the right. Right? The right-wing conservatives just basically want their common sense, kind of mostly economically based models and approaches to policy to go through. I mean, there's the social conservative aspect is an aspect as well, and we'll get into that, and I think that's important too. A lot of the times the social conservatives are used to like defeat the whole conservative movement by saying, well, they don't, gay marriage or racism or whatever, homophobia, I don't know, racism, anti-immigrant. Like, if you're anti-immigration, even if you're Like, I know a lot of brown and black and Asian people who don't like the immigration system. And are they racist? Maybe, according to the left, but it's becoming a dangerous situation now, where it's not even appropriate to even say how you feel, and there's just something off. And for a guy who spent 4 years studying politics and international relations and culture in university, paying a lot of money for that to try and get to some kind of understanding about the way the world works and our society and our culture and our political body, like, I feel I can't abandon it. Like, I can't totally abandon politics. Like, I've already come this far. So this podcast, I'll try to, like, not inflame too much, but I don't know. I've invested so much money, $40,000 in college education. So I should, like, if there was a big problem in medical science, or, well, I guess there is now, with the pandemic. But yeah, where are all the scientists? All my friends who studied biology, biochem, whatever. I don't see them coming up with answers on Facebook. In fact, very few of them are speaking their minds. I don't see. Everyone just wants to follow and that tells you a lot about the education system. Like, I went to school with some smart people, but in the end, they're sheeple. They'll follow the professor or the public health dictates, of Dr. Tam or whoever. And I've seen a lot of cowardice, especially, not least of which for myself. I mean, I wish I could be more of a keyboard warrior, but that's the thing, is that's just it. That's all you become. You're just typing and arguing. And my proof positive of that is I have this old friend from Hamilton, Steve. He was an older kid than I, kind of a Gen Xer guy. And he'll just post the most ridiculous stuff on his Facebook. He'll just say, we should give back, a good chunk of Southern Ontario, like Brantford, Brampton, Guelph, all should just give it back to the native tribes, which I don't even know if there's proof that they had that area, but whatever. So and nobody says, like, oh, great idea, Steve, or everybody says that. And, like, nobody would say, like, well, what about the millions of people living there, you idiot? Like, it's just, and I was going to argue with him. I mean, there's so many other things, but it's, if somebody can post something like that and people are, like, okay with it, and there's really nothing I can do to change their minds, because they just set it up as, like, a love-hate dichotomy. Like, oh, well, you either love and care about the native thing or you don't. And if you oppose me and my policy idea, that means you don't. If you have any common sense suggestions, you're evil. You should die. These Gen Xers, everybody says, like, the boomers. Okay, boomer. I got a few Zoomer friends in their early 20s who are like, fuck the boomers or whatever. But I'm telling you, you just wait till the Gen Xers get control. The Gen Xers were that weird in-between generation of, like, 75 or something to 85. I don't know, something like that. So I had them as, like, babysitters, and the older kids, I was born 89. So I knew I knew them, but I tend to think they're a little bit off. So are the millennials, the Zoomers, Generation Z or whatever. I don't know. Listen, between OnlyFans and TikTok and the sugar daddy dating websites, I mean, it's tough for the Zoomers. Like, they got a lot of, if you're a female, it's like, why not, You see girls making money off their bodies, selling themselves kind of short maybe, but hey, you got some cash in the short term, money you've never seen before. Of course you're going to take it. I mean, I probably would if I was an attractive female. I don't know. I might feel a little bit about the whole thing. I'm sure it is tempting for a lot of young girls, but then it's like, what if somebody finds out? Like, I know a lot of attractive young girls who probably would do it if they could get away with it, if they could do it in like England, the UK or something. But, somebody will find it here, I guess. How else would you advertise it? Anyway, so this podcast is going to go on about that kind of stuff, culture, and, basically me ranting until I get tired. And you get bored of my low, dull voice. But yeah, any complaints or questions? I kind of want to start a discussion. Like, I'm hoping somebody out there will see this and like want to do like one of those split screen videos with me. That's kind of what I've been gunning for this whole time. But I'll have to settle for a solo. I'm surprised I've been able to talk this long by myself. I think that's a sign of something bad. That I've been practicing by myself. No, really. But no, I'm just a chatty Cathy, and I like to talk, and I'm an extrovert. I can't help it. I like to socialize. So if anybody's watching this and wants to collaborate, send comment or something. Because I guess we can't meet up. One of the other problems I had about making this podcast was these things, the microphones. I don't know. I just never. I guess you kind of need, if you have more than one person, you typically need two mics. I mean, for two people, but then you gotta we had the frequencies were off. I bought two. I gave him one, but they just didn't match up, and we needed like a soundboard or something to get it right, I think. So maybe it is easier just to do the solo. One person, one mic. Okay, Nas. Cue the music. But yeah, I really don't know. I just wanted to get something up because I've been procrastinating like a mother effer for months now, and I'm not writing. I probably should be, but or dictating at least or something. A little bit bummed out. I lost a lot of recordings on my phone. I had an old phone from China, and I had a lot of kind of notes and just random recordings. I don't know, just shit over the years. I had to, unfortunately, that it all got deleted. Still have a lot of it on memory, and I uploaded a lot of it to Google Photos and whatever, the drive, so that's good. But I lost a lot of it too, and that's unfortunate. I think I still have a lot of it, actually. Pretty sure I ripped quite a good amount. Those little videos, and I would take notes. Okay, it's coming up in 13 minutes, so I'm going to sign off. More to follow. Stay tuned. There's better podcasts. I'm your host, Merlin. If you know my real name, keep it a secret, I guess. Or not. Whatever. And I'll see you next time. More exciting stuff to follow. This is just the beginning. Only the first. You just wait. All right, take care, guys. There's better.